Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today. If you're a school leader, an educator, or involved in educational management in literally any capacity, you already know the reality. Running a school often feels like you're trying to put out a dozen fires at once while blindfolded, right? But today, we're putting away the fire extinguisher and we are completely changing the narrative. We're going to explore a really comprehensive framework that takes reactive, day-to-day school management and transforms it into a structured, proactive system. We're going to break down exactly how to take a massive multi-year strategy and seamlessly funnel it right down into your Tuesday morning staff meetings. To really ground our explainer today, we're starting with this commanding quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I mean, it's incredibly inspiring, but let's be honest with each other. It also highlights the massive stakes and the immense pressure that school leaders face every single day. You're tasked with wielding this weapon, shaping the future, and dealing with some incredibly complex daily realities. And that is exactly why having a structured blueprint isn't just some nice-to-have administrative tool, it's absolutely crucial for your survival and your success. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the school improvement blueprint. Second, analyzing your current reality. Third, setting smart strategic goals. Fourth, translating goals to termly action. And finally, winning the weekly engine. Now, before we get too deep into the weeds, let's just quickly clarify a few crucial acronyms and terms that are going to pop up, specifically because our source material is grounded in the South African educational context. So SMT stands for Senior Management Team. That's your principal, deputies, and your department heads. SGB is the school governing body, which includes the parents and community members who help govern the school. And finally, the quintile classification. That's a system used to allocate financial resources to schools based on the community's socioeconomic status. It ranges all the way from no-fee schools in the lower quintiles to fee-paying schools in the higher ones. Getting a handle on these roles and structures is basically the foundation of our entire blueprint. All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the School Improvement Blueprint, where we look at macro-level planning. Okay, so we really need to distinguish the dream from the doing. People mix these up all the time, right? Your vision statement, well, that's the dream. It is the absolute ideal future state of the school in 5 or maybe 10 years. It's what you aspire to be. But the mission statement, that is the doing. It defines exactly how the school fulfills that grand vision every single day. So your vision might be something like empowering world-class leaders, but the mission is the practical, action-oriented commitment, like providing rigorous academics and inclusive support daily. Both of these are totally essential, and both need to be co-created with your staff and your community. And right beneath your vision and mission, well, that's where your core values live. We're talking about things like excellence, integrity, inclusion, respect, accountability, and innovation. And listen, these aren't just corporate buzzwords to paint on a wall in the main hallway. These core values actually act as the guiding principles that have to anchor all your decisions, behaviors, and relationships within the school community. When a tricky disciplinary issue pops up, or you have to make a really painful budget cut, your SMT should literally be looking at these values to guide their response. Moving right along to Section 2, analyzing your current reality. You know, no matter how amazing your vision is, you literally cannot map out a route if you don't know where you're starting from. So to do this, we use the classic SWOT analysis matrix. This means mapping your internal factors, that's your strengths and weaknesses, against your external factors, your opportunities and threats. For a typical school, internal strengths might be a highly dedicated teaching staff, while a weakness could be, say, poor pass rates in key subjects like math. On the external side, an opportunity might be a new district support program or NGO funding, while a threat could be severe socioeconomic challenges in your community or operational disruptions like load shedding. You've got to put it all on the table, objectively. But here's the thing. We aren't just listing facts from our SWOT data and calling it a day. We want to find actual strategic insights through crossover strategies. It's kind of like a giant puzzle. For example, an SO strategy asks, how can we use our strong teacher capacity, our strength, to leverage external community resources and opportunities? Or an ST strategy might ask how we can use those exact same strong teachers to mitigate the external threat of declining enrollment. This right here, this is where strategic school leadership actually happens. Now, alongside that SWOT analysis, your blueprint absolutely needs a risk register. This is what keeps your whole plan firmly grounded in reality. You identify specific risks like sudden staff turnover or a sudden drop in funding, and you rate their likelihood and their impact as high, medium, or low. But you don't stop there. You must assign a concrete mitigation strategy. So if the risk is high staff turnover, your mitigation strategy might be making sure you've documented all key processes and kicked off some succession planning. It's all about being prepared, not paranoid.
All right, let's jump into Section 3, setting smart, strategic goals. So this is the exact moment where all that broad analysis gets super specific. And here's the crucial takeaway. You've got to narrow your focus. If you have 20 goals, honestly, you have no goals. The blueprint suggests focusing on just 3 to 5 smart, strategic goals across key priorities. We're talking academics, teaching quality, community engagement, infrastructure, and school culture. Making these goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound is what prevents curriculum overload. It ensures you're actually making measurable progress. Think of a goal like explicitly stating, we will improve the grade 12 pass rate to 80% by year 3. Boom, clear, actionable, measurable.
Think about how this builds a continuous timeline of accountability. We like to call this the rhythm of management. It really anchors our whole macro to micro narrative today. You have your 1 to 3 year strategic plan up at the macro level. That feeds directly into your termly review at the meso level, and that in turn dictates the agenda of your weekly SMT meeting all the way down at the micro level. Establishing this rhythm ensures that your beautiful 3-year dream doesn't just get buried and lost in the weekly chaos. Which brings us right to Section 4, translating goals to termly action. To actually make that shift from dreaming to doing, the source material gives us this awesome termly review tracker. Let me walk you through the protocol step by step. First, you just complete the basic school info. Second, you capture your 3 to 5 priority goals. Third, and you do this before the term even begins, you record the planned activities and assign the responsible staff members. Fourth, during your termly SMT meeting, you update the progress status. And fifth, at the end of the year, you transfer the whole shebang to an annual summary. Sticking to these steps ensures absolutely no goal gets lost in the shuffle of a crazy academic year. And for tracking, we use a super simple progress status key. It's just clear visual indicators, green for completed, yellow for in progress, red for not started, plus a couple tags for on hold or rolled over. I love this system because these visual cues let the senior management team objectively review progress at the end of every single term without any ambiguity or, long-winded excuses. If it's red, it's red. And you urgently know exactly where you need to direct your resources for the next term. To actually make that review happen, though, you need to block out a dedicated termly SMT strategic planning session. Think of this half-day session as your surveyor's check. You are intentionally stepping away from the daily noise to review performance data, set your operational priorities for the new term, align your budget, and assign accountable owners to action items. This half-day investment is absolutely crucial. It's what ensures your daily operations haven't drifted entirely away from your big 3-year blueprint. And finally, Section 5, winning the weekly engine. So this all comes together at the weekly SMT meeting. You've really got to frame this weekly meeting as the absolute engine room of your school. It has to be highly structured. A standardized agenda covers all the critical bases: health and safety, teaching and learning updates, learner affairs and discipline, staff matters, finance, and upcoming events. Listen, this isn't a time for casual chatting or complaining about the broken coffee machine. This is where your termly strategy is actively monitored and your daily course corrections are made. But hey, listen to me carefully on this part. That beautiful, structured weekly agenda, it's completely meaningless if you don't have a strategic action register attached to it. At the end of every meeting, you absolutely must document the specific action item, name the responsible person, set a hard deadline, and track the status notes. This right here is what confirms accountability and secures your next steps. Without this register, I promise you, you're just going to have the exact same conversations week after week with zero progress. So that brings us to the ultimate takeaway for today's explainer. I really want to leave you with this provocative question to reflect on. Is your school simply reacting to the weekly chaos, or are you proactively executing a 3-year blueprint for success? By connecting that massive macro vision all the way down to the micro weekly action register, you can build a closed-loop system that drives real, measurable improvement. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this incredible structured approach. I highly encourage you to look at your own school systems today and just ask yourself where you can start tightening up that rhythm of management. Keep learning, keep structuring, and I will see you next time.